Good morning, everyone here from Utah. I hope y'all are doing well. It's 9 o'clock a.m. or so. Let me get the exact time. It's 9:11 a.m. And I have the next 11 days off of work, of vacation. So I have some time. I have some time to do whatever I feel like. So it's Thursday today, November 21st, 2024, and I'm waking up. And I'm not really a big planner, at least when it comes to my day-to-day activities. I will plan for a yoga class if I have one that day, and other than that, I just kind of let the energy unfold, and I end up doing wherever the energy goes for me. But in this video, I want to share with you how things are going with my martial arts journey, why I started that journey, how I think I'm doing today, 2.5 years later, and what I think the future of it's going to be for me. And I will do a video of my progress at some point at the gym. I've done a few videos of my martial arts, and when I think about why I started my martial arts journey, the reason I started is very simple. I am a quiet, calm, and peaceful man by nature. And people like this are targets for bullies. It's just the way it is in this world. When you understand this simple rule about people in the world, you will not be confused or frustrated with the world. And the simple rule is this: people will do whatever they think they can get away with. Most people will do whatever they think they can get away with. They will push boundaries, they will test. Kids do it with their parents. If someone feels like they can push you around and get away with it and there will be no consequences, they will do so generally, unless they have really consciously worked on themselves to not do that with people they know they can do that with. So my peaceful and calm nature it sets me up for that rule to take place for people who don't have self-control and who don't know how to control their emotions or anger or wanting to dominate other people in life. And I noticed this at a young age with people. So for the first time in my life in early 2022, I decided to do something about it. As an older adult and having a lot of autonomy in my life and the means to do so, I had another person bully me. It wasn't a major bullying, but someone threatened me, and that was enough to kick off a process of how do I handle this. There were multiple ways I could handle it. One, I could try to engage with the person that did it and convince them to stop, and that wouldn't have worked. So that answer was out, and there were many other answers that were out. The final answer I landed on was I need to train and become a lethal killing machine with my hands and feet and elbows and head and punches and kicks and strikes and grappling. I'm 46 years old at the time of doing this video, and the last thing I want to do in my life is get into a fight. I'm getting older. Injuries are easier. It's just easier when you're older to get hurt and bust something up. So avoiding a fight at all possible cost is the outcome I seek to have. But nevertheless, if for some reason that wasn't able to be done, I want to be able to have some knowledge and skill to at least have a really good chance of neutralizing any kind of threat. So I started my martial arts practice by going to a self-defense studio here in Riverton, Utah, called the United Studios of Self-Defense. And I spent about 6 months learning and training there, and got a yellow belt and an orange belt. And then I let go of going to that dojo every month and decided to take my training on my own. And I continue to train to this day a couple of times a week on the heavy bag with punches and kicks and honing those. I seem to have gravitated towards a style that is Muay Thai and kickboxing and Taekwondo, but it's some blend between those three. Certainly, I feel I have the most fun when I'm using my legs to train and kick. It's just the most fun, and so that's important to me, is that I do something that I enjoy, and I seem to be the best with my kicks. I may not be the most flexible person, but I've gravitated towards kicks as my primary means to defend myself. It doesn't mean I can't punch or use elbows or headbutt or take someone down. It just means I seem to be a striker. I think every person who goes into martial arts finds the thing they gravitate towards more, and it's either a striker, a grappler, or a mix. Like a mixed martial artist would be good at striking and grappling. And so striking is punching, kicking, elbows, headbutts, knees, those kinds of things. And a grappler is someone who does jujitsu or wrestling, where you grab someone and you aim to take them down or choke them out that way. And both are effective, both are useful. There's not one that's better than the other. Both have pros and cons. The pros to being a striker is if you can create distance with your opponent and get one good strike, you'll have a good chance to knock them out. And then the advantage of a grappler is if you can get a good hold of your opponent and get their neck or their arm or ankle or other things in a position where you can break it or sprain it or cause significant pain, then that's also very disabling. So both are useful. But I started this journey as a response to a bully, and I had bullies in my childhood too. I remember in, I think it was 7th or 8th grade, in middle school, there was this kind of big guy, and I'm a big guy too, but he would flick my ear during class. And the reason he did that is he was pretty certain I wouldn't retaliate, so he could get away with it. And someone who feels like they can get away with that and they're feeling bored, they're going to do it. Because why would someone who can bully you just sit there and be bored when they can be a little stimulated testing a person? And so I experienced that and other bullying, and then it happened many, many years later at age 44 in early 2022 during my breakup with Chelsea. And for the first time in my life, I said, I'm going to handle bullying by becoming a lethal killing machine, at least to the best of my ability. And I've stuck with it 2.5 years later. 2.5 years later. It wasn't some short-term thing that I decided to do and then gave up. It's like, no, martial arts is now a part of me. And so I look forward to the days when I can go train on the heavy bag and kick it really hard and really sweat and feel the force of the masculine power within me. And so it allowed me to hone that aspect of myself, the non-peaceful Jeremy, the Jeremy that really taps into the primal monster within that I think most men have in them, to bring out the dragon in me and to just allow it to come out. And then after training, to put the dragon away and let it sleep, and to have that as something that is available to me if I ever need to, but only if I ever need to. until that tapping into that side of myself has been in part of my journey. I can get very intense. I can get very focused and feel the force of power of damage I can inflict. And that's something that I never did until 2.5 years ago when I started this journey and I started to feel that aspect of me come out. But my nature is still very peaceful. I seek to avoid conflict versus have conflict. And the reason for that is life is hard enough with gravity alone putting pressure on us and aging, the aging process, and trying to make ends meet and earn a living and save for retirement and manage health and so many other things in life. Why add to that, to the difficulty of staying alive and thriving is hard enough. But for some people, they thrive on conflict, they thrive on chaos. And I don't judge people for being that way. There's a reason they are that way. And there's no judgment. It's just we are all different beings in our own different ways. But there's this world is not is not fairies, unicorns, and rainbows. As a man, it's important to be able to be prepared to handle the monsters of this life, the monsters. And a lot of times those monsters are outwardly not a monster. They don't appear to be a monster. Outwardly, they may be they may appear intelligent, charismatic, and that they are a righteous, good person, or however they present themselves, but underneath there's a monster, a manipulator, a liar, someone who seeks to sow chaos and manipulation and control. It's like Sauron from Lord of the Rings, a deceiver, a manipulator, and it all goes back to people will do whatever they think they can get away with. And so with that knowledge of knowing that, people will do to me whatever they think they can get away with. I am subject to this rule, so I must be in a position where I know how to shoot a gun or defend myself so that people will at least think twice about trying to mess with me. It doesn't mean they won't in the future. It doesn't mean they won't, but I at least have some ability now where someone messes with me, they know that I've put in significant time into self-defense and martial arts. So at least, hopefully, they'll think twice. And if they don't and try to mess with me, I at least have a much better chance now than I did 2.5 years ago of defending myself. And so that's the reason, that's the purpose for my martial arts journey. What I've gravitated towards the most is kicks, mostly kicks, some punches in a kickboxing, Muay Thai, Taekwondo combo. I think low kicks are effective. If you can do a hard low kick on someone, they will have a hard time walking, or you may even sweep them off their feet. So low kicks are good. I like roundhouse kicks. One good placed roundhouse kick will take someone's ribs out, or with enough flexibility on the kicking someone in the head, it's a knockout, like for most people. And they're fun to do. It's fun to just face the heavy bag and whip my leg like a baseball bat into it and just feel the power of those strikes and the gunshot-like sounds it makes. And the side kick is more of like a for show kick. I know that a side kick most of the time won't be used in a fight because it's unless you can do it very quick. And like in the mixed martial arts world, there's this guy, Stephen Thompson. He's called Wonder Boy, and he does a karate style for his how he fights. And he can do a side kick almost instantly. It's like a quick jab with his leg. It's that quick, and it knocks someone back. It's like people have to think twice before approaching him because his side kick is so fast And his kicks are so lethal that you just can't become complacent near him, or he'll whack you with a kick and knock you out. So yeah, my martial arts journey has been a good learning and growing experience. And as I'm getting older, and I'm going to be 47 in less than a month, it's just crazy to think about. I can't train as hard as I could, or like when I was in my teenage years or 20s, I could play basketball for 4 or 5 hours and wake up the next day and feel fine. If I kick the heavy bag for an hour plus at 46 years of age and I train really hard, I'm going to need to wait a week before I kick hard again. Just the aging process and the loss of what makes us youthful, the less damaged cells, the less wear and tear on the body, etc. It makes it a process that's harder to do when you get older. It makes sense to me why there's not nearly as many fit older people as there are younger people, because it's just harder when you're older. Aches and pains and being tired, and having lived more and more life and having experienced so much already, it's harder to feel that newness, that sense of newness that drives you. So I see two primary benefits to my martial arts journey. The first is the overcoming of bullies. I'm not afraid of bullies anymore. I don't care what they say to me. I don't care who they are or what they do. I almost kind of giggle to myself now when I recognize a bully and just how low of an energy vibration you have to be to bully someone. It's a lack of self-control, a lack of consciousness, a lack of an ability to let go, a lack of evolvement in life. It's a very low-level lizard brain type of behavior. So I recognize it for what it is. But this world, I believe in freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of myself to defend myself and cause damage to someone if they ever threaten my physical space. And then the second part is the enjoyment I get out of training, the good workout I get on the heavy bag, which I'll do a video of some point in the future. I haven't done a video for over a year on my martial arts journey, and looking back, roughly the first year was just getting a feel for the practice. I watch my videos and my kicks are awkward, they're slow, my body's bent over while I'm kicking, and for a side kick that's fine, but not for a roundhouse. You don't want a roundhouse kick where your body's like bent over. So I definitely feel and see the progress. It feels like the first year or two is kind of just the tutorial of martial arts. And then after a few years now, after 2.5 years now, I'm starting to get the hang of it, how to properly do a low kick, a mid kick, a side kick, a front kick, jabs and crosses and things like that. It's been a growing and learning experience. And I don't know if for you watching, you've done martial arts in your life or you have ever thought about doing it, but it's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I think every man, especially, and woman would benefit from training, from learning to fight so you don't have to fight. That's the primary reason of it for me, is that I now have a greater aura of confidence that I can handle myself in a physical confrontation, whereas before the age of 44, I had no confidence that I could handle myself in a physical confrontation. So that's it. That's my video on martial arts, and I have the next 11 days off of work. So I'm sure I'll have time to do a lot more of these videos and kind of chronicle my life and share a lot more with you all. Since I won't have the stress of work on me, I'll have a lot of free time, and gotta fill this free time with something. So I thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next video.